back on track in the win column. Just start with your overall thoughts for tonight.
Yeah, I'm proud of the team. We were all disappointed coming home from St. Louis and felt like we let a really quality opportunity kind of slip through our fingertips there. And it was hard to come home. Nobody's been in a good mood. We haven't played to our potential the way that I expect us to play. And tonight, especially in the first half, I thought that was as good of a floor game that we've played from an offensive standpoint to this point in the season. We talked about making each other better and committing to just doing the little winning things from an offensive standpoint. And when you play the right way and the ball moves, you have halves like that. And it was great to go into the half with a sizable lead. We shot well from the floor. And kind of, the game was never in doubt. Just really proud of the group. There's still some things that we need to clean up. But overall, really quality win against a really quality program. And we'll take it and move on to what's next.
Hello, Coach. How will you describe the David performance tonight got season high?
Yeah, I hope to the casual eye you can see how important he is to our team. We haven't had him the last 3 games, and I've been wishing in those games that we've had him available, and to have him back and to perform like that in his first game back is super impressive. He affects the game on both sides of the ball from a rebounding standpoint, from a defensive standpoint, and then offensively we can kind of move him all around, and he's just a really talented player. And a really key piece to our team, going forward.
Hey, Coach. Apparently, Barry got into foul trouble too early for today's game. So, and I saw you talk with him for a while once you go to the bench. So, can you just share a little bit about what did you say to him and how what's the plan? They are going to make for them for the future.
Yeah, it was one of those games. He got into some foul trouble. He got his 4th foul relatively early in the second half. And, I told him he's an important piece to what we're doing, and we need him on the floor on both sides of the basketball. He wasn't intentionally trying to foul. We just need to be better in those moments. And as I said, every player, I don't care how long you've played, has a night like that. And we need him to respond and be ready to go on Sunday. To win by 14 points and largely not have him be much of a factor in the game, I'll take that as a positive. Once we get him and some of these other guys clicking at the same time, I think we have a chance to be really dangerous.
Coach, Barry moving out starting line in the last 3 games. What made you make decision, and how did you told him about this?
Yeah. Nothing personal with Barry per se. We just haven't been playing well as a team, and trying different lineups, different combinations, trying to jumpstart our team. If you look at last game, Barry came off the bench, but he played starter minutes. He played 28 minutes on the road at St. Louis. To me, it's not so much about who starts, it's who finishes a game. And as I said, Barry's a really quality key piece for us. And what I'm trying to do is to get all these front court players to click at the same time and find the right combination. But our lineups could change going forward. We're going to play lineups that fit the personnel of the team we're playing. And, I just need Barry to stay ready. But he's a huge piece to our team going forward.
And what do you think what made him struggle in the personal foul today?
I don't know. You'd have to ask him that. Yeah, it's one of those games, and sometimes, when you get a foul or 2 called on you, you get even more tentative. I have to go back and look at the film. I don't even really remember how his fouls were called, but as I said, it's one singular blip on the radar on a big, schedule of a season. So we just need him to turn the page and come back ready to go on Sunday.
Riley today had 22 points and 6 threes. What do you think this performance does overall, and do you think that Chase Center brought a Steph Curry effect for him?
Yeah, maybe we should play every game here if he's going to shoot like that. No, I thought, I've spent a lot of time with Tyrone. Tyrone's put a lot of pressure on himself heading into his sophomore year, and I think at times that's caused him to maybe force the issue a little bit. And it's not coming from a bad place. He just wants to do so well. And tonight was as good as he's been about just letting the game come to him, and making simple plays, shooting in rhythm shots. And when he does that, he has the ability to shoot the percentage that he did tonight. And it's good to see him rebound. One rebound away from a double-double, too. We've been on him about, continuing to affect the game from a rebounding standpoint. But I'm proud of Tyrone's response, because I've been challenging him, being hard on him, because he's fully capable of being a two-way player for us on both sides of the ball. So he deserves that kind of performance. It was good to, kind of just be a fly on the wall and watch it.
Speaking on Tyrone, he struggled against Alabama, I think 4 points, and then since then he's had a new season like all 3 games since then. So kind of like what ignited the fire after that growth Alabama, that tough football in the Most East. What does it mean for you and then for him too to be on the streak going in with 1 game left before conference play?
Yeah, I think it's a product of him playing the right way and approaching the game the right way. And we play a free-flowing style of play offensively. And you kind of need to let the ball and the body movement find the shot and not force stuff. And up to that point, maybe he was being a little bit forceful. And so to see him just kind of settle down and let the game come to him, that's what it should look like. And that's credit to him, too, for making those changes. We need him to continue to ramp it up. This is a great performance, but this isn't as good as he can play. He's capable of playing better, as is some of the other guys on our team. And we're just trying to find that night where everyone is clicking at the same time. But I like getting back on track. I think this was a good step for our team.
Coach Bukashin came into USF kind of known as a sharpshooter, had 5 assists tonight. He now leads your team in assists. What does he mean to you as a point guard?
Yeah, he's I consider him a guy who can really score the basketball. That's part of the reason why we brought him here. And to his credit, he's tried to really mesh with the team and not try to do things to rock the boat. I mean, we're encouraging him to be a little bit more aggressive from an offensive standpoint. He has ability to score and facilitate. He made some really good reads in 2-man games tonight. I think both his turnovers were when he got tired late. But he's a really important piece for us, too. We need to continue to try to encourage him to up his scoring totals and up his usage as a player. It doesn't necessarily have to be scoring. You can affect the game in different ways, but I thought that was a really quality performance for him.
You've played Loyola Chicago 3 times in the last calendar year. What was different about this version of this team, and do you think it's becoming a little bit of a rivalry?
We have a ton of respect for their program, for Coach Valentine. He does a heck of a job. This felt like the rubber match a little bit, we had 2 really unbelievable games with them last year, but that's a completely different team than a year ago, and so are we. So some parts of the scout were similar from a style of play standpoint, but a lot of new faces out there for them. So we just needed to win. I didn't care who we were playing, when it was, where we were playing. We just need to get back on the right side of things, and we'll be rooting for Loyola Chicago the rest of the way. They play another league opponent on I think Saturday or Sunday. We'll be rooting for Santa Clara in that game. But we'll be rooting for them once they get into Atlantic 10 play.
Only 4 turnovers drew your guys tonight. How important was that?
Yeah, it's amazing. We just thankful the guys finally did what we're asking them to do from evaluating the basketball standpoint. Our goal going into every game is a 16% turnover rate. Tonight we were at 7%, so we were almost half of what our goal is, and that's any game you do that, you're going to give yourself a chance to win. And I just thought we played with really good rhythm and valued the ball, and When you do that, as I said, regardless of what the other parts of the game look like, you give yourself a really good chance to win.
What can you tell us about Morgan State on Sunday?
Very well coached team. I'll get into kind of what they look like nuts and bolts wise, later tonight or first thing tomorrow. I know they're out here for, multiple games. But this game is going to come down to us and finishing non-conference play the right way so we can head into conference play on a win streak and hopefully continue the momentum that we established tonight.